Solve triangle ABC if A has a length of 10, B has a length of 40, and A equals 30 degrees, and we want to round to the nearest tenth. First thing we want to do is we want to draw out this triangle. Okay, so we want to determine which sides, which angles are given, right, so that we can determine which law to use, right? So, okay, A is the length of side 10, so that's the side that is opposite angle A. So we'll just label that 10. B has a length of 40, which is going to be the side opposite angle B. And angle A equals 30 degrees. Okay, so this is going to be 30 degrees here. Okay. So what information do we have? We have two sides, okay, and an angle that is not between those two sides, right? So we call this an SSA triangle. Okay, and the order is actually very important, right? When we write SSA, we write it because we have two sides and an angle that is not in between, right? There's another type of triangle called SAS triangle. In this one, the angle is between the two known sides. But in SAS triangle, we use a totally different method, right? For SSA triangles, we have to use the law of sines here. Okay. So let's see, what is the law of sines, right? The law of sines says that the sine of A over A equals the sine of angle B over its opposite side is equal to the sine of C divided by its opposite side. Okay. Now with an SSA triangle, right, you got to be careful with this. It's possible that there's no solution. Okay. It's possible that once we do the math, we're going to see that we don't get a solution. But it's also possible that we have two solutions. Okay. It depends on the sign and what we get. Okay. So let's check it out, right? Let's fill in the numbers that we know. Okay, so we got the sine of 30 over 10 equals the sine of B over 40 is equal to the sine of C over C. Notice this ratio, we don't know any of these two values, right? Which is okay, right? So we can actually use this proportion to figure out the value of angle B first. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that, right? So we'll set sine of 30 over 10 equals the sine of B over 40. And we should be able to solve for B, right? We'll just do a little cross multiplication here. So 10 times the sine of B equals 40 times the sine of 30. Now you notice in this case, right, we're actually solving for the angle here, right? So let's divide this out. We get sine of B is going to equal 40 times the sine of 30 all over 10. Okay, so we should be able to figure this out, right? Use your calculators. In this case, B is going to equal the sine inverse of whatever this is, right? The 40 times sine of 30 over 10. Okay. So if we actually calculate this part out, right, we get B equals the sine inverse of 2. Right, 40 times the sine of 30, all of that over 10, that should equal 2. Okay, but what happens when you put this in your calculator, right? Sine inverse of 2. There's going to be an error. So what does that mean? Right? It means that, well, there's actually no triangle that can be made with these specific measurements. Okay, so the value of angle B cannot exist. Okay, so there's going to be no solution here. Right? We can't even solve for angle C or side C. Okay, remember, this is no oblique triangle, right? So we cannot use the Pythagorean theorem here to find side C. Okay, we have to use the law of sines, but in this case, when we use the law of sines, right? Okay, we're going to get an error here. Okay, so in this case, there is no solution. Okay, we cannot solve this triangle.